Speaking of Saka and Arsenal, I want to go to Nina first on this. Yesterday, a draw at the Bridge. What did you make of Chelsea's performance overall?
Yeah, well, about Saka, Mark Cucurella did quite well with him, I think. Yeah, I
Don't like
thought in
that
the
smile.
end,
Don't like that.
huh?
Don't like that smile after that comment. But carry on.
But it's true. I just say what I saw. I think overall after the game, I felt a draw was probably fair. I think we went into that game just hoping we turn up, for the London derby. I thought we had good chances. Obviously, Arsenal have not been in their greatest form, and I think that they felt that, we could come up and cause some danger. But after the 5-0 thrashing last season and most of the players not even turning up for that game, it really did show me that we really have come a much longer way basically since then. I thought we've had decent moments. I think both teams went through different phases where they were more dominant. But overall, I think both teams also fluffed a lot of chances. So at the end of the game, I think a draw was fair. But I'm happy with certain patterns of play that we showed. I'm happy with the chances we created. I did think that Arsenal did shut down a lot of our threat that usually comes down the middle. We had to sort of play side to side a little bit. Some of our wingers were isolated at times. And yeah, I do still think, and we talked about this after the Man United game, that this tactical decision that Enzo Maresca's choosing to play Malo Gusto again as an inverted fullback where he's occupying spaces where Cole Palmer would usually roam, I think really pushed out Palmer onto the touchline. And I know that we'll talk about Palmer. And yeah, but I don't think that Arsenal finished their chances, and that's ultimately why they didn't win at the end. It could have been a win for Arsenal. So yeah, I'm happy with a draw.
I just want to start off by saying,
are you happy with a draw at home?
No. To be fair, on the run of the game.
Sorry. Let Nina answer that question again. Sorry.
Why am I happy with a draw at home?
Yeah.
Because we've improved massively on our football. We had an identity on the pitch. There was a playing style, and we're improving. At the end of the day, we came in with different expectations into the seasons. You guys were supposed to be challenging for the title. We're challenging for top 4. I'll just put that out there.
I'll be honest with you. A draw against Chelsea at home is never a positive result for me. And as a Chelsea fan, I'm surprised that you even say that.
For you because you're challenging for the title. Your expectations are different.
A draw at home, not away at Chelsea. At home against Chelsea, if we draw to you lot at home, I'm fuming. For the last 2 seasons, Chelsea fans are coming out here celebrating draws at Stamford Bridge like they've achieved something. You drew last year, you drew this year. We were there for the taking. You lot didn't put us to the sword. I'll be honest, it was our fault. I'm pissed at Arsenal and I'm pissed at Arteta because as bad as we were, we allowed you lot to get something out of the game, which we shouldn't have. That was a freak goal. Big up Neto. What he did is a freak goal. If he doesn't score that, you lot aren't scoring any other chances in that game. So I hate Arteta for this.
But what other chances
Literally, I hate Arteta for this. What? Huh?
But what other chances did you score to get one up on us?
But that's not the conversation here.
But it is
the conversation is whether why are you happy with a draw at home if you're on the upward trajectory, wouldn't you want to win against Arsenal at home after 6 years?
Did you watch the game at the Emirates last season? Like I said, I came into the season.
You didn't lose to us.
I came into the season hoping Chelsea would push for top 4. The fact that we've come toe to toe, Man City on the opening day, yeah, that was tough. Could have gone either way. I think we could have gotten more from that game. We played well against Liverpool. We also had our moments. We were, I think, good in that game. Enzo Maresca said himself that, we could have potentially won that game, but Liverpool, as we're seeing, are literally the best team in the league right now. So the fact that we're coming toe to toe with these better teams, I'm happy. Like I said, our process is different. We're not challenging for the title this year. I'm interested in getting back into Champions League football. And right now, with how things are looking, that is what is a positive. We're third. And like I said, I'm happy with my team. We've improved on a lot of things. We're playing better football. We've got an identity under our manager, and there's a clear game plan I can see on the pitch that we are trying to execute. You're the ones that have been challenging in the last few years, and putting my bias aside, I'm happy with that result. Yes.
Nina, I'm not debating in terms of how, because Chelsea have impressed me, because I came and saying all sorts of stuff about Chelsea at the start of the season. I didn't feel they even finished in the top 4 personally. And I said after 10 games, I'll reevaluate. And they're looking like the real deal. but they're actually looking like the real deal that they could challenge for the top 4, 100%. Like I might end up potentially eating my words, and I'm ready for that. But there's nothing that's gonna, like, if you're saying you're happy with your team, that's great. But happy with drawing at home to Arsenal in the situation we're in, I don't think that you should be personally. But that's
I told you I was happy with what I saw in the game and the performance. I thought we could have won if we'd had our shooting boots on, but so could have you. At the death, at that very end, I'm sure you saw the Trossard Havertz situation at the end. You guys could have scored too, so that's a different game, and we would have lost it. And of course, then I would not have been happy with that game because we didn't deserve to lose that game.
Fair enough. I actually agree with you. I thought it was a 50-50 game, even though Mikel Arteta came out afterwards, said he thought we dominated. Yeah, we can dominate possession. We looked good the last 2 games versus Inter and Chelsea, but we drew 1, we lost 1. And similar situation where we did not look so good versus Tottenham and Aston Villa. We won both those games. So I just need Arsenal's results and performances to start to match up, and hopefully with better fixtures going forward, it can. As for Saka, yeah, you guys did okay holding down Saka, but if we're gonna go based on Nubbin's metrics, he had a pass where if Mika Moreno would have tapped it in, we would have scored. So he had a good game. And Cole Palmer.
I'm glad you brought his name up. You got talk.
I thought we did a good job neutralizing Cole Palmer. We realized he's one of your main threats, and we did a good job neutralizing him in the second half. We slowed down your quick counters. You guys seem to be one pass away from countering in the first half. As for Chelsea, I want to apologize to everybody that I said Pochettino needs to stay, because I told you guys Pochettino needs to stay. Let him cook another year. Maresca showed tactically he's superior to Pochettino. I thought it was a gap in quality in players. No, it was actually Maresca in that first half did a really good job in making it very difficult for Arsenal, where Pochettino last year, we had all the time in the world to do whatever we wanted against you guys last year. And maybe it's not just down to your players. I gotta give a little credit to Maresca, and I didn't do that yesterday in the match reaction. So I think he deserves a shout out, because it's not just the players that Chelsea had a difference in quality with. The manager showed that he was not going to make it easy for us on the ball. And when we did have a player leave the pitch, the guy who I make fun of the most, and I think he's going to have a terrible season, in Enzo Fernandez, picks up the assist, statistically picks up.
It was always going to happen.
And I think Neto was the best winger out of both teams, and I actually would have given him man of the match instead of Cucurella, as really and truly he saved you guys. And no one else on your team was looking like they were going to get a goal. He took the game by the scruff of the neck, realized that Saliba was off the pitch and Declan Rice was not occupying that space, and he drifted into that space, and boom, goal out of nothing. And credit to you guys.
Yeah, but Martinelli's goal was kind of, I think if you're Sanchez, you have to save that. Like there's only one place that he could have put that. So I mean, you could say that maybe like Neto's goals from nowhere, but I also think that Martinelli's goal wasn't one that technically should have been scored. If they
no, but in the same breath, when you think about it, what goal is more like? What goal are you more likely to score?
The Neto one.
That's a better chance
from that far out, and he went there.
Neto was an easier chance than Martinelli's. Well, that's what you're saying.
What goal? Let me rephrase it. What goal do you think has a higher XP?
No, don't do that. He's already seen what he's already answered to where he's at. He's told us that Neto's chance is harder. It's easier than Martinelli's.
9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10, you take the same shot from that close against a goalkeeper or from distance where Neto did. Let's be honest, you're more likely to miss from where Neto was than you are where
explaining to this guy. He's already
but what I'm saying is, look at the angle that Martinelli scored from, right? If Robert Sanchez had a brain, that's not a goal, because there's only one place that he could put that ball for it to go in from that kind of angle. The shot that Neto took,
it was across the keeper, bro. He can go across the keeper as well, bro. There's no.
No, come on, not from that kind of angle. Like you think Martinelli
can go across the keeper
from that kind of angle?
Yeah.
Nah,
I know you. Maybe you don't kick ball, but yeah, you can.
I think Neto's shot.
Do you not think if he was near? I get being nearer I get Sanchez being nearer the near post. But if he does that, doesn't Martinelli just square it to Saka for a tap in? Is the goalie not sort of caught between a rock and a hard place there?
No, wait, but that's not what we were talking about. We were talking about which goal was the easier.
What's a better chance? That's what we're talking about.
Listen, I understand what you're saying about the goalkeeper. A shot from that distance by Neto. Do you know they have something like a less than a 3% chance of going in, like long distance shots? Like they're genuinely rare. They're genuinely rare. It's why Pep Guardiola, as a general rule, doesn't like his players taking long shots because he thinks, typically speaking, they're just a loss of possession. But I heard him say that once many years ago. But
those are the facts, Phil.
In terms of the ramifications of the game, Liverpool are now top, 9 points above Chelsea and Arsenal, 5 points above City. What of the title race? Is the title? I'm going to go to Nina first on this. Is the title race over for Chelsea, for Arsenal, and maybe is it just City and Liverpool in it now, or is it still too early in the season to be making those claims? What's your thoughts?
I think it's too early, of course. I mean, it's very open at the moment. You know, we talked about the difference between sort of third into 10th, even 12th. I mean, there's a very small margin separating a lot of the teams. So it'll be really interesting to see how it unfolds. At the moment, it's very easy to look like Liverpool look like the most serious in terms of not dropping points, winning games, even when they don't play their best football. That's just such a good quality to have when you are a title challenging team. You've got to have that in you. But again, I've always said it'll be really interesting to see how Liverpool deal with injuries in their outfield players as well. But, you know, I think that the best sort of baton that you could have handed to Arne Slot from Klopp happened. You know, everyone talks about how good Kelleher has been. That is also massive credit to Klopp. Klopp really helped Kelleher sort of come out of his shell, you know, even when he was sort of a backup to Alisson. He was so well integrated into coming up and stepping up in these bigger games. He played cup finals. I'm pretty sure he started against us too. So that's a real good way to just hand over a team. You know, there's still that backbone where you've got certain players like Salah, Van Dijk, who can keep the team together. You've got other players that have stepped up like Gakpo. So even though they look like they were less busy in the window, they actually managed to just sort of make the best do with what they have. Slot has really shown that he's a manager that can kind of adapt in games as well. I think that's one thing that really trips up new managers. They are so eager to kind of leave their footprint on the team they've just taken over, where they literally will say it's my way or, you know, nothing at all. But Slot has shown that he's really versatile in games as well. He can switch things up. But yeah, I think for now they look the most dangerous. They probably look the most convincing too. But again, I don't buy into it that the title race is over. We've seen that, you know, early days, anything can happen. Like we said earlier, sorry, Henry, you know, Tottenham looked very different at the start of last season. So it's very hard to say in 10 games in what's going to happen. As with Arsenal as well, you know, I think obviously against us, they had is it fair for me to say that your strongest lineup pretty much that you could probably put out there that you have been missing since maybe September? So it'll be interesting to see how you guys get on with Odegaard's back in, of course. With Man City, it's really interesting. You know, we did talk last show when I was on here, Terry, how City, it is possible that they could be quite depleted in terms of, you know, it's very demanding to be at the top and be as good as you are for consecutive years, that it's not outrageous to think that there is probably a burnout in them a little bit, you know, with the managers, some of the players, but there just does look like this sense of burnout across the team. And again, you know, we've always talked about Pep being Pep. He always pulls out something out of the bag. I think this is going to be the biggest test if Pep in this season, where Man City look so depleted, can pull something out of the bag and, you know, make City a challenging team again. But it's really interesting to see that. I think one thing I've noticed with Arsenal, it's almost like when City have tripped up, or there's been moments where they've dropped points, like kind of last year in November, December, when City started dropping points, Arsenal also started to do that. And it's almost like, it's really interesting to see that when City kind of drop points, Arsenal almost do too, because the pressure of kind of being better than City catches up with them. This year it's very different because Liverpool are really up there, but it will just be interesting to see how that kind of unfolds as the season goes.
I think if Liverpool... Oh, go on.
No, you go ahead, because what I'm going to say is going to change the conversation.
I was going to say...
Yeah. Well, please don't change the conversation. We're on the title race bit here. It'd be very nice to stay on track.
I think if Liverpool beat Southampton,
what a weird way to phrase a sentence that was. That was like a. What I'm going to say is going to be revolutionary. It would change everything. That was sorry.
I think if Liverpool beat City, if City don't beat us and then Liverpool beat them at Anfield, I don't see City pulling back 10 points.
No.
Like, I know we'd only be 13 games in. The January window's massive. If City bring in a Zubimendi type player, and I think they'll bring in maybe another striker because they've only got Erling, and if Liverpool bring in a left back and another midfielder, I just don't see, even if they have an unbelievable window, that 10 points, knowing that City will focus on, they'll probably mainly focus on the Champions League at that point, you know, having another European trophy in the
Henry, do you know what? Yeah? You know what? Yeah, but what you're saying, I get, and some of what Nina's saying as well. It's like, how many times have we said, but this year it's different? City are just different this year. It's different. We've had this monologue every year for the last few years. City are different, but
yeah, but it is different though. But
it is different. It is different.
Terry, but isn't that what they always say? But it is different this time.
Yeah, I think
it's different. There's always a caveat.
I think that I understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I think people always look for oh, maybe it's different, and then just projected what they wanted. Genuinely, the fact they just lost 4 on the bounce for the first time in Pep's history, first time in 18 years. And it isn't just these 4 games. If you look at the previous 4 or 5 where they were scraping wins, they were bad in those matches as well. This isn't a kind of a bad patch of form. This has been going on for 2 to 3 months. This is so.
I hear it.
So for me, I think it is a little bit different. And I think where Henry makes sense is this. If they keep it within 5 points, City are in this race. City come back and lose to Spurs and Liverpool win, and it goes to 8 points, and then Liverpool beat them and it goes to 11 points, as an example. I don't see them catching this Liverpool team 11-point swing with Rodri out. If Rodri was fit, maybe. And so I still think City are in it for now. But my question is more about Arsenal. And I think City, I don't know if Chelsea were ever going to stay the course this year.